Hey, how you doing? What you doing? I be in the break room. I be in the break room. Bet I'm in the break room. What you doing? Hey, what we doing? I be in the break room. I be in the break room.
Big Bink's Breakroom podcast. What it do? Hey, look, this is the fastest growing podcast. You know how I always start the show off. You know, thank you for the emails. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you for the negative feedback. Thank you for stopping me on the street, calling me, letting me know what you like and dislike about the podcast. Every day we trying to do something, you know, one day at a time to get this podcast at the top. You know what I'm saying? In the rap game, R&B game, they got the top of the charts. And we trying to get to the top of the podcast charts. So I appreciate it, man. Hey, look, it's homecoming season. Now, for those of you who went to college and those of you who don't, because a lot of people didn't go to college, but they still went to the homecoming festivities. Homecoming is an ongoing family reunion. You know, one day out the year, you mark that week on your calendar where you went to school and you go back and see your friends that you have made for a lifetime. For me, Langston University, Oklahoma, established in 1897, changed my life. I know I wouldn't be in my radio career as deep as I got and the things that I've accomplished. I know that wouldn't have happened without my connection with my HBCU and then my extended family that came out of that HBCU. And you can ask anybody that went to an HBCU. They'll have trillions and trillions of stories that got them together to become contributors in today's society, along with lifelong friends and relationships that are still cultivating to this day. Shani, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, Bink?
I see you repping that little Jarvis shirt right there.
I put on Jarvis. I didn't go to an HBCU, but Jarvis was founded in 1912, and I didn't want to be left out. I didn't want to be left out, so I said, let me put on my Jarvis shirt. I do support Jarvis. I actually helped Jarvis raise $153,000 in one weekend when I let them take over my airwaves in Tyler. So,
well, that's what that is. So you did your part.
That's my HBCU experience.
Absolutely. There. Speaking of experiences, there are so many people that walked through the doors of HBCUs and are contributing, changing the world right now. On the show today is one of my good friends. Now, I say that because me and him kind of came up together. You know, I was doing a radio thing in Dallas, and he was an artist at the time. And you know, I'm gonna bring him up and let him tell the story how we met. Make some noise for one of my partners, man, who just took Mississippi on his back and has. And when you think of Mississippi, you think of David Banner. My people,
down on the
my
phone,
people, man, hold up. David Banner's on the show. Get roll.
That was the song they played at homecoming when I would go to PV's homecoming parties. We were dancing to that.
Yeah, I picked up something special at PV.
What that mean? Wait a minute. Ooh.
This is the podcast. Ain't no rules. Go ahead and let it hang out. Bro.
Oh, well, then fuck that shit, dude.
What up, David Banner, ladies and gentlemen? What's up, baby?
What up, B? Man, it feels so good, man. It feels so good to just see you still thriving, and man, because when I first came up, bro, I didn't even register who I was talking to because they got me on this run, man. And you were like, bro, it's me. And I was like, oh shit, because so many of us are not still here, man. To see you still here, thriving, happy, excited about, you know, your place in the game, man. I'm just happy because there's not many of us left. And Miss Scott, it's an honor for you to be here. I'm just honored to be able to even be in the same space as an angel like yourself.
Oh,
and
bless
I'm glad
you.
that you came to Earth to bless us with your presence, love.
Thank you, my Lord.
That language, that's coming from that HBCU language that we learned on the yard. Now let everybody know, because Banner was like the SGA president on the yard of this school. Let them know what school you represent, man.
I went to Southern University in Baton Rouge, and similar to you, I honestly believe this, man. I believe that God allowed me to go to Southern because it's funny. I went to Southern because of hip hop. People don't know that. there was this group called Ho Frat Ho, and they had a video that they shot at Southern, and the video was just so lit. And I just thought that it was gonna be, just a whole bunch of hip hop down there because they shot the video down there. And that's actually the reason why I went to Southern. And my mother was such a powerful woman. She said pick one college and one college only. And I ended up picking Southern, and we drove down there with no nothing. And she went to registration. She went up to the office and she told the lady, my son is gonna go here. And the lady said he is. And my mama sat down. She sat there. We sat there all day. And the lady looked at her. My mom said, you serious, huh? She said, yes, ma'am. I'm gonna sit here till my son get in school. And they put me in school, and my mama left me there.
That's interesting. I have a Southern story because actually I wanted to go to Southern at the New Orleans campus.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be a dancing dog because in high school I was a majorette.
Mm-hmm.
But this was back in the 90s, 94. I was too brown to be a
So you want to know
dancing
something
dog.
funny about that? What you're saying is so true. The year I went to Southern was the first time that they had a dark-skinned majorette. It was the year the year that I was there.
Wow.
It's a lot of just history in the HBCUs, and I'm gonna really wait until a couple years from now. I'm gonna start talking about it because we are driving our children to HBCUs, and I really believe that that's where we should be. But there's some things that the HBCUs are gonna have to offer to our people because we drive constituencies or people, supporters to places similar to the Black Bank. We send all our people there, but what are they going to promise to our kids? Because the original purpose and reason for land grant colleges was to reinstill that 350 to 500 years that we lost. And the true mission of historically Black college, I believe, is to teach you how to be African again. And we're not doing that. There's supposed to be an experience. One of the things that the PWIs are doing are they're getting the Black colleges for duplication of curriculum. Our curriculum is supposed to be different. I don't believe that our schools are supposed to be better, worse, equal to. I don't compare myself to white people. It just should be ours. It just should be different because our experience in America is different. So many Black colleges, Black people are some of the few people on this earth that send their children to go work for their oppressors. White people don't, for the most part, don't send their children to Black colleges or to work for Black people. You know what I'm saying? So we, if nothing else, have to do what they do. We have to send our kids or prep our kids to come back to the community and build a community that they're from. But we won't get into that today. We're happy.
Well, wait, while we're talking along those lines, did you catch the debate last night?
No.
Okay, well, I won't even ask you the question then.
No. I decided this run I wasn't gonna talk about politics because our people are so opinionated and we've become so petty towards each other, and we don't even let the true thought provokers. There's so many people who really just got engaged with consciousness and with politics, but they are the ones that talk the loudest now, and they don't even listen to the people who have studied it and know it the best. So the thing is we don't even allow leadership to be strategic or to make plans that are better for our people. If a lot of our people hear things that they don't understand, then they crucify it. I don't even understand why we mad at each other. It ain't why you mad at somebody because they're Republican. Why you mad at somebody because they're Democrat? Don't neither one of them white folks give a damn about the Black community. This is not church. They don't like you. You know, I just think we only get excited as a whole about the things that white people get excited about. I want to see this energy that people are putting into this. Why don't they put that into the HBCUs? Why don't they put that into building Black elementary schools and Black high schools and middle schools? Why don't we have that energy with building grocery stores or hospitals that sustain the life of Black people? We get so, I don't know why we get so animated about systems that have never cared about our people. I always tell people all the time, even with COVID, these people don't want you on earth. Why would they give you the key to life or to heaven? They don't want your ass right here. I just don't get it. It's mind boggling to me.
We talked about that yesterday. Like one thing that I know personally that I've learned from COVID, like COVID became a microscope to really see how people of color are being treated in this place we call America. Mm-hmm. Like they always revert back to the Constitution, but what people should know by now, when they wrote the Constitution, they had slaves in the basement when they went home. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that Constitution wasn't meant for us. 3/5 of a man. Ben, I know you know all about that. But 3/5 of a man.
America wasn't built for us. It was built on top of us.
Oh, absolutely. On our backs. Absolutely. Absolutely.
On top of our ass.
Yes, sir. So now you got something that you're working on with the HBCU. So go and expand on that.
Yeah, the Thurgood Marshall College Fund grabbed me to produce. I am producing the Rise Homecoming Concert Series. It's a fundraiser to send Black kids to Black schools. And it's the largest public HBCU fundraising component. They allowed me to produce what I believe is going to be the biggest concert of this year. I am proud because I'm opening up new revenue streams for artists and for people of our capacity. And it's crazy because I usually don't like to talk about the negativity, but I heard the whispers of people not believing that my company could pull this off. But the strange thing is they don't study. I've been doing this. I threw one of the largest urban relief concerts in history for Katrina.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I remember that.
And a Banner Vision. If you go to a bannervision.com, you'll see I work with some of the biggest companies on this planet. Not saying that I'm above reproach, but what I am saying is that I've been doing a lot, and it's crazy to me. I don't know why, but our community seems to focus on the people that act like niggas.
Yes.
And the people who are really doing for our community, the people who are really upstanding members of our community. Like and I'm not bragging on myself, but my cousin told me from Mississippi, it's not bragging if the empirical data is there. I even look at the thought leaders in our community, and once our people became outwardly more conscious, we just seem to continue to follow the same exact people and wonder why we don't get different results. And with this Thurgood Marshall situation, I just wanted to make sure that people know that hip hop is on time. Hip hop is about business. Our people are about business because I want people, when they think about Black folk, like when I post my logos or when I post my commercials, I don't even know if you all watch what I'm doing for davidbanner.com, and my clothing line is really blowing up. But like, I shoot many commercials for Instagram. Like, I don't want people to ever say that we're low quality. I want to tell y'all this, and I hope that, Bink and Miss Scott, I hope this makes y'all proud. We had some of the biggest hip hop artists in one day recording for this concert, and somebody walked on set and said, y'all gonna be here to 5 a.m. with them hip hop cats. And I said, don't bring that spirit here.
Yeah.
We ended up leaving early. Everybody showed up on time. And, a lot of people say it's the respect that they have for me. I don't know. I can't say. That may be a part of it. But what I can say is that we can do this without other people. Our people are great businessmen and businesswomen. And this has been one of the best experiences in my life. It's coming on Sunday on Aspire Network. You'll be able to get it on the HBCU streaming platform online. You'll be able to stream it at the Thurgood Marshall YouTube site. A couple days afterwards, you'll probably be able to see it on my YouTube too. but what I will say, y'all, I'm talking about from Jill Scott to Lil Baby, from India Arie to 2 Chainz to Eric Billinger, Neo, T-Pain, Big Crit, Affion Crockett, Monique, Brandy from P Valley, Terrence J, Shaquille O'Neal, T.I. There's this very handsome guy from Mississippi. Hold on, y'all. Bink, you turn away for a second. Turn away, Bink. See, Miss Scott. Oh, Miss Scott, look at all here. Here, Miss Scott. Miss Scott. No, man, but I'm serious, guys.
Yeah.
When you guys see this, I went above and beyond. I hired movie cameras. I got a real movie editor. I shot this like a movie because I wanted this to be something that people would be proud of. And it sort of made me sad when some of the rappers stepped up on the scene. They was like, damn. You know, it was like they were surprised that we were that level, you know, that we had that kind of quality. And I was like, dude, this is what you're supposed to expect. This is supposed to be the median. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm glad that they saw that we could do that for ourselves.
Yeah. So moving from that, with those rappers that experience that, will you or do you plan to put anything together to continue that education for them? Because a lot of times it's just because they haven't been exposed to it.
Well, I'm not necessarily doing it to educate them. I'm about to get this big money.
I know, but you know, it's each one got to teach one.
Yeah, but no, I think I'm moving. I mean, and you guys are the only people that I've said this to. I'm sort of moving away from that teaching space, and I tell you why. Our people, or people in general, animals in general, don't listen to anything that's free. You got to show people. These kids don't want to hear no more talk. Everybody be talking. That's part of the problem with social media. Everybody has a voice now. Yeah. So there's 3 different ways that you keep people ignorant. One way is give them no information. The second way is to give them the wrong information. And the third one that we're going through right now is too much information. So you may have 10 voices in the room and only one of them is the truth. The rest of them are going to use the overpower the truth. So for me, I'm just going to become successful. And just like Bink will tell you, I've always been accessible. I've always been doing big things. But people don't seem to be attracted to people that treat them like shit.
That's real talk.
Know why. Yeah. I don't know why, but I refuse to treat my people like shit, and hopefully, you know, they'll see the light and they'll come over here and make this money with me.
Okay, so how we come? How me and Bink come?
You're already here, baby.
Okay.
Vicariously, just because you're standing next to this man. I don't think he would be around a person that I wouldn't enjoy and couldn't trust. So, you know, I think what happens is if we individually, have you all ever heard of Derek Grace before?
No, I haven't.
Derek Grace is one of the most popular young social media influencers. The dude makes hundreds, if not millions of dollars a month. And he's teaching Black people how to make money. And I would say it's similar to me and his relationship. We don't need each other, but when we get together, all we got to do is throw each other alley-oops. You know, if you guys continue doing what you're doing at a stellar level, I'm going to come to you. That's what I tell rappers. Like, Big Crit didn't have to send out no demos. Lil Boosie didn't have to send out no demos. They were so hot. Yeah, people would come to them. And on my wall in my old office, on my wall, like I used to have to look at it every day. It said everything is my fault, even when it isn't. So it's like, you know, I always tell people, like, I don't believe Jesus is coming back. I believe the story of Jesus is to show you how to bear your own cross. I tell people all the time, Jesus is to show you, like, you have no excuse not to be a God. I came down here and did the same thing in the physical flesh and form that you are in, and I walked on water. But the problem is Black folk, we don't want to fast for 40 days and 40 nights. I tell people all the time, if you fast for 40 days and 40 nights, your Black ass might walk on water too. We want somebody else to come out of the sky. We want a blue-eyed white man to come out the sky and save us. That's not coming back. You are your savior. God gave you everything that you needed, and it's time for us to get it. White folks ain't waiting on no heaven in the afterlife. They building their heaven right on top of our Black ass. So we are going to have to take that. Like I am so ferocious when it comes to business. because I have a bigger want. You know, I want to own water. I want to own electricity. I believe that's the only way that we're going to get free from their tyranny is to have a that we use everything that ends black life, but we own nothing that sustains black life.
Right.
They'll let you own a mortuary and put black folks in the ground, but where are those organic grocery stores? That's one of the ways that I think the South has failed black people. Is a lot of our people, especially the youth, they don't want to farm. That's supposed to be what we do. We supposed to farm. And if you think about it, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan told me that when I went to his house. He said, David Banner, if you want to be a billionaire, start growing organic food. He said, white people, black folks, aliens, everybody will bow to you because these people are tearing up the earth. And if you own food, if you really want to be rich, grow some food. That's my opinion. So that's the reason why I work so hard, Miss Scott, because I want to leave something for our children. You know, with the Banner vision, if I do what I'm supposed to do, our kids won't know. They won't have to talk about inclusion as it pertains to movies. That'll be all they know. Because that's all I'm shooting is movies for my folk. You feel me?
No doubt. Speaking of that, I was in Ohio at the time, but you did Carter High right here in Dallas, Fort Worth. Yeah.
The great David W. Carter High, 1819 West Wheatland Road, Dallas, Texas, 75.
Yeah.
232.
Some people say that that was my best movie role. And do either one of you all knew who I played in that movie?
You were the attorney.
Do you know what his name is?
I can't remember.
He's actually big in politics. In that.
That was I think that's the man that sued Des Bryant for the house. What's his name, Bink?
Not Ron Kirk.
No, not Ron Kirk. No. Royce West.
Yes.
Royce West. Yeah, Royce West.
So I'm gonna show you
Congressman West.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm gonna show you how amazing the universe is, and to come back to HBCUs. It's gonna all go in a circle. So one of the reasons why that was one of the hard things about being an actor is that a lot of the background story, we have to make it up, right? Because we don't have the history of the character, or the character is made up. The reason why that was one of my best roles is because I went to college with his son.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we called him Big Royce. He's actually Little Royce. And he got me in touch with his dad, and me and his dad are friends to this day. And so he told me some stuff that if you go back and look at the movie, like him and the judge were friends. And the judge had promised him if he was going to send them boys to jail that, I don't even know if I'm supposed to tell that.
Yeah, tell, because this hurt me to the core.
Yeah, well,
I wasn't in high school yet, but I was.
Well, I guess I can't say it because it was in the movie. He told him, like, bro, if you're gonna send these boys to jail, let me prepare their families. Let me prepare them. Like, don't throw the book at them without them being prepared. Can you do that for me? And dude was like, yeah. And he said when he got in the room and dude started talking and he looked in his eyes, he knew what he was about to do. So if you look at my character, I start shaking my head even before, because that's what happened in real life. So Royce was able to give me, or the congressman was able to give me background information and things that probably nobody else on the set knew. So I had some internal things going on in my brain and my head that gave me a certain level of confidence. I'll tell you guys this, and I still use this to the day. And I thank Congressman West for this. He said, David Banner, I never ask a question I don't know the answer to. So what that means is if I ask you a question and you answer the question, then you're already defeated, because I knew the answer in the first place. So now that you said it, I got you. But I will honestly say that, I'll be a part of Dallas history now, and I appreciate being a part of that film, and the love and admiration that I got while I was down there shooting it. I appreciate it, and coming back, for the, because white TV always tries to make us look like we're the enemies or we're the bad folk, and I was happy to be able to tell our side of that story.
Yes.
So let me backtrack a minute because I've heard you tell this story, like on different radio shows, on your podcast, on different interviews on YouTube, and it talks about how when you came out, you know, you was the like a pimp guy. I mean, that's how me and you met. I was playing it in Dallas. It blew up. Mm-hmm. You actually came to the. Let me tell you how humble this dude is. 2002 or 3, he came to the radio station as David Banner, not David Banner like a pimp. We playing this song 94 times a week. He came as David Banner, the guy. I walked past him, came back. I was like, "Hey, can I help you, bro?" He was like, "Yeah, I'm looking for Bink." I said, "Yeah, that's me." He was like, "Hey, I'm David Banner." I was like, "What entourage at? Like, what? I mean, like a regular dude." And so when I hear you tell this story about how you captured people with Like a Pimp and you got that fan base, and then we talk about the God box. Now the God box and Like a Pimp, that production, the structure, the view of those two records are totally different. But you did it for a reason as you started this journey to where you are now. Can you share that story, man? Because artists need to hear that.
I honestly, Bink, I don't think it's much difference. All of those things are a part of our lives. I remember T.I. said it on the Breakfast Club. It was so powerful. I think it was Angela Yee. She was like, "You a pimp, you a gangster, you a dad, you a revolutionary, you this." You're like, which T.I. is it? T.I. said, "I'm all of it." Like, people try to separate artists. And I know people do this to you all. Like, you know, I'll give you an example. Like, one of my celebrity friends would do something that people don't agree with, and then they think that I'm not gonna fuck with them no more. Like, you got homeboys that are ratchet as fuck, family members. Your mama probably ratchet as fuck. Like, you still put up with her ass, you know, or your father or whoever. Like, there is a duality to human beings that we all embrace, and just because I'm a star doesn't mean that that's any different. Like, I still got them same guns. I still have the capability to whoop ass or get my ass whooped. It's just that we get older. I think with me, a lot of people thought it was reading and my study, and yeah, that had something to do with it. But more than anything, I'm grown now. I was a kid during that time.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So people would look at Like a Pimp and act like that wasn't shit almost 20 years ago. Like,
absolutely.
If a lot of people were to open their legs or open their life, you would see a long history with them too. You know, and I used to be ashamed of it, but now I'm proud of it because it shows these children. Like, I'll give you an even better example. I haven't ate pork in almost 30 years, and I'm from Mississippi. Like, and so, like, I remember I used to eat the pig feet that used to be in the little pickled pig feet jar for like 8 years. Like, like I used to eat that. So, but what that does, instead of being ashamed of that, kids can see a progression. One of the things that they do to our leaders is they make them caricatures, and people don't believe that. They need to know Malcolm was a pimp. Right. They need to know that Martin Luther King, you know, got down.
Yeah.
You know, not that we're making light of that or we're trying to embarrass his legacy. No, we're teaching our children that we make mistakes too.
Right.
You know, so and I tell these so-called woke folk, because to be honest with you, with the exception of a very few, I still I can't get these white woke folks on the phone, but I can get Tip on the phone. I can get Snoop on the phone. I can get Jeezy on the phone. I can get all of what people call gangster rappers. When Katrina happened, maybe with the exception of Talib Kweli and, you know, Ninth Wonder, I couldn't really get them cats on the phone. It was Tip that brought $80,000 to the table. It was Jeezy that gave me $20,000. It was 50 Cent that filled my mother's house with clothes for people for Katrina. It wasn't them woke folk. So what I'm saying is that, you know, we need everybody. We need the gangsters on the front line defending our children. It's our whole community. The problem is, this is the problem. bitches and niggas at the most take up 15% of our culture. But we talk about bitches and niggas 90% of the time.
Yes.
That is the
Man.
problem.
Yes. I was
That is the
just saying
problem
that.
that I have. Like everybody said that they're keeping it 100, but this is the sad part, and I want you all to consider this. I'm gonna ask both of you all this: what happens to the truth when everybody that knows it dies?
If they didn't share it, it dies too.
The lie becomes the truth.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Especially if the lie's being said over and over and over and over.
So although niggas and bitches are only about 20% of our culture, they're growing every day.
Yeah.
Because we have made niggas and bitches the thing to be. And I'm not judging niggas and bitches, because niggas and bitches and pimps and gangsters are the one that put me on. I never be the type of rapper that I got into it with a rapper about that. He had got woke and was doing well for himself, and he was saying that, rappers shouldn't do this. I was like, man, come on, dog. How you gonna shut the same door that you walked through?
Yeah.
So what I'll tell you in short, Bink, is that I'm still all of that. I just don't let any of it control me to the point where I can't. All of it is like a Batman utility belt. Motherfucker get me wrong, I pull like a pimp out on his ass. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no problem. I never forget this, y'all. This is funny. Can I say this the way I want to?
Come on, man.
Yes.
Let's go, baby.
All right, so I was in Chicago. I did my first God Box concert, right? And so I came off like one of my real super spiritual songs off of the God Box and went straight into play, right? Work them hips, come girl. And not everybody, but most of the people in there went, and I stopped to give it. I said, fucking quit it.
Yeah.
Just because you won't don't mean you don't like the fuck. Quit it.
Exactly.
Y'all probably fuck more with your shea butter. Put your shea butter in those special places and warm them up. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
Sometimes we get beside ourselves. Just because I'm woke don't mean that I don't like the fuck. It's just that I don't let it control me.
Yeah.
I don't let it define me. I don't, one of the things that I hate that's happening to our little girls is America has started trying to define our women at the end of a man's dick. That's
Absolutely.
not cool. You have a whole show that your validation, or what validates you is who you married to. I don't think that's powerful for our kids. And I'm the one to talk, because I am the one that may play like a pimp. I'm not saying that my wrong is any better than theirs, but I do think we should be careful about what we do, and how we do it and how it's going to affect our little girls. We and again, I'm not judging it. I just think we should consider it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think a lot of that too is because I'm the one that has the issue with it, because it's different for men and women in this. Like, dudes, y'all can come in this industry and be you for 20 years. But as a woman, when I came in the industry, I was 17. Okay. Then I got married. Okay. Then I got divorced.
Oh.
So I went through, a growth spurt there, Then I got married again. Mm-hmm. Then I had kids. So along the way, as I start maturing, then I don't become, because I remember one time, Bink, you said this to me at the station about something. He was like, well, this other person is more marketable in this urban world than you. And that's because the maturity levels were different. When I was younger, it was some things that I would be a little bit more open to, not too much stuff. Mm-hmm. But as you mature as a woman, then it becomes, oh, you sound like the cool aunt on the radio. We got to move you over to the urban AC station. Okay, now you don't fit the urban AC station because the conversation changes. But for the men, you can be 80 years old still talking about like a pimp, and it's okay, and it works. You see what I'm saying? So when they say that, when you say, well, the women are defined by what's at the end of the man's penis, our music is saying that the music doesn't change. So the only way a young girl can figure that out is mama's mind got to be right, daddy's mind got to be right to understand, okay, that's entertainment, that's what that is, but this is how you need to live life to be successful.
Well, I also think it's a cultural thing. I actually think I know the white dude that created that in radio. I was actually on the call. And it's crazy. He was employed, he is or was employed by black people. And the fact that
And I believe it.
black folks let a white person run black music is a problem within itself. So like for me, culturally, we let white folk define like what's okay and what's fine. And I'm not saying that we don't have problems within our community, but it's just that we don't have control over our music. We don't have control over. It's funny. I said it in a verse. I said, white folks own black entertainment television. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't own BET no more. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Neither here or there. But what I will say is this. That was one of the reasons why, again, a full circle, I wrote on my wall, it's my fault even when it isn't. So instead of complaining about it, I created an Abandoned Vision. And we are on our way to doing it. And the Thurgood Marshall College Fund is opening the door for me to produce more content that is conducive. And I like to give a shout out to Rhapsody. I like to give a shout out to Cyrock, like two women who decided that they were not going to go down that path and that they were going to be accepted for the queens that they are. And like I said, I'm not judging them or putting them above or below anybody else, because every woman that gets off of her ass and pursues her dreams, it takes a lot to matriculate yourself through this game at any level. You know what I'm saying? They are all to be loved and admired. And honestly, I said this about NWA. NWA was needed. NWA changed the course and addressed police violence at a level that I've never seen it doing that time or this time. NWA was not a problem. White folks signing 2,456 versions of NWA was the problem. Rap doesn't. The only problem that rap has is a lack of balance. You know, back in the day, for every Chuck D, you had a Flavor Flav. For every Andre 3000, you had a Big Boy. I'm starting to realize that this earth is not about good or bad. It's about balance. Because good or bad is only perspective. Yeah, slavery was bad for us because we were African, but slavery wasn't bad for white folk. Everything is balanced. Malcolm was a god to us, but to white folks, he was a demon. Good and bad is really only perspective. So what is truly godly to me is balance. We need a little ratchet because our life is ratchet to a certain degree. But then we need some godliness. You know what I'm saying? And well, I really won't even say godliness. I would just say something that deals with our inner health. Because godliness, I tell people all the time, God ain't good or bad. God is all.
Yeah.
So how do we keep supporting Banner Vision? How do we get behind that? How does the community get behind that?
DavidBanner.com. Go to DavidBanner.com right now and buy everything that you see. You know, for the most part, the thing that I would ask is that just don't leave me alone. You know, I watch in our community anytime that a black man or woman stands up for their people, that their people back up from them. You know, just don't leave me in the corner by myself. That's all that I'm asking. And support where you see fit. And the way that you start is by going to davidbanner.com. One thing that I did, and this for everybody that's watching from a marketing perspective, I got something at every price point. So if you ain't got that much money, go buy a pen. You know what I'm saying? If you got a little bit of extra bread you want to support, go buy a t-shirt. One thing that I'll try to never do is ask people for anything. But other communities make sure that their thought leaders are taken care of. We don't seem to do the same. So just do what you can.
Well, look, man, from our friendship to the van where you used to make them beats, the famous van. You still got that van?
Nah, somebody stole it.
Oh man, that's so much. So many. I think you made Rubber Band Man in that joint, didn't you?
No, I didn't make it in the van, but I was sleeping in the van.
Yeah. From there to davidbanner.com, man. I mean, you got so much to offer the world. You've been doing it consistently, hell, since I've been knowing you, 02, 03, and continued success, man. And I can't, and I ain't just saying this because we on the show, but I'm so glad that I got a chance to see you. I see you everywhere, but I wanted to rekindle our relationship, and I want you to see organically what I'm doing. Because like you say, people say, yeah, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, man, you know. But I was like, well, I mean, I didn't catch him in Ohio that time. I'm going to catch him. I ain't catch him in Indiana. But, we got Banner tomorrow? Good. When he find out that I got this podcast, he's definitely going to participate.
Right.
So,
and guys, make sure if you see fit that you go check out the David Banner podcast too. A lot of times I get so emotional when I be in my interviews, I forget to pay my bills. So, you know, if you see fit, go to the David Banner podcast.
You forget to pay your bills. What that mean?
That means you got to support your own companies and your own entities. We spend so much time answering other people's questions that we don't pay our bills.
Okay.
When I leave, I've helped everybody but my company. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
Because I am genuine about what I do, but I have to keep, focused. Like, yeah, I am here to promote Thurgood Marshall. Yeah, I am here to talk politics and how I can help our folk. But like, people don't even know how to help me, you know. And I'll tell y'all this, and you should tell your followers, even if they're following you, go give you guys 5 stars. Go get a David Banner podcast 5 stars. And even if you are a hater, write something in the comments, because that will help advertisers to see that not only are your followers listening, but they engage.
Yeah.
So that tells them that when you all tell them to go get a product, that they'll listen because they are engaged in the things that you ask them to do.
Okay,
just let y'all know.
Now, how we get to the podcast? Tell them how to check out your podcast.
If you got an iPhone, you know, pull up the little purple podcast emblem. You know, type in the David Banner podcast. Hit the subscribe button. If you have Android, you know, you go to anywhere that you can get podcasts, you can get the David Banner podcast. Pop the little 5-star thing, and you know, subscribe. And we also on YouTube. My YouTube page is A Banner Vision. Go check that out. And
it's orange too. It's orange. It's like a little cartoon logo. Click on that bad boy, because I'm on it.
One other thing. I do have to say, this is very important. I got to get serious for a minute. For all the ladies who follow me on Instagram, just David Banner, if you have a weak heart, you should be very careful, because I keep my shirt off because I'm so fucking sexy. And a Banner Vision will not be held accountable.
Oh, Lord.
Or you busted your motherfucking heart for looking at this sexy ass motherfucker. I don't even call myself David Banner no more. I call myself him.
Him.
Man,
okay, him.
Nah, man, thank y'all, man. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, Bink. I'm proud of you,
man. You already know, man.
Miss Scott, I want to tell you something in parting.
Mm-hmm.
You have went through, and you're going through something that that I went through. Don't sell yourself to entertainment. I don't give a fuck what nobody else doing. You keep being the woman that you're supposed to be, because you can't ask things of your children. You know, I always tell people, it's not what people would think of you in 2 years. It's not what people would think of you in 20 years. It's what people would think of you in 200 years, if they think of you at all. I said I didn't want to go down in history being known as like a pimp or play. I am proud of that. But in history, Shaka Zulu, who is Ludacris's manager, he said, David Banner, do you know how they define people in history? And I said, no. They said in art. You know, the type of house, Art Deco houses. It was this period, that period. Periods are actually defined by the art. They said one of the reasons why they make them white people push to make our music so violent and so whorish is so whenever they do what they want to do to us, that their excuse would be like, well, look at how they act. Because they're not going to see the real us. They're only going to see our art. So you continue being the woman that you're supposed to be, and go inward. The truth is, it's going to come back. Everything comes back in a circle. And if you continue being the woman that you're supposed to be, it'll come right to your doorstep. It came to mind.
I receive it.
All right. All right, Bink. Love y'all, man. Y'all be good.